Welcome back,
Um,
Philip.
no, welcome back to you. So, last time we talked was actually the day after Miss Lucy was born. I was in San Jose on business, and we sat in your garage and drank wine. And if you listen to the old Wasting Time at Works, now the first thing you hear is that little clink of the wine glasses.
Yeah,
which is,
the magic sound.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it was some Foley art that we were proud of and continue to be proud of. But we figured maybe it was time to update. Oh, look at this! I just got an update. The New York Knicks won by 12 points, which is unusual for them.
Yeah.
So I
great.
wanted to relay a dream I had the other day, and I wanted to get your take on the best, if this were a real world scenario, what the best way to proceed would be.
Okay.
So in my dream, I'm in a car and I'm stopped at a tunnel. Okay, and there's a line of cars in front of me, all going into the tunnel. We don't move for like half an hour, so I get on my car to go see what's going on. And when I get up to the first car in line, I can see that the driver of it is dead. I go to the second car in line, that guy's dead too. Third car in line is actually a semi. Driver of that one's dead. So I go to the fourth car in line. The guy hasn't bothered to get out. He doesn't know why we're stopped. He doesn't know all the drivers are dead. And so he asks me, what's going on? I say, well, it's weird. All the drivers are dead. And as soon as I say that, he dies. Okay? So I move back to the next car, and the guy there says, what's
What
going
were
on?
you
And I go,
expecting at that point? I remember.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me
I'll
just
try
finish.
the next one.
Okay. So I go to the next car, and the guy asks, and I tell him, and he dies, right? And I realize that every time someone asks, and it's only when they ask, that the next person in line dies. It's not the person who asks, it's the next person in line. Now, here's the catch. I'm seventh in line. And by the time I get back to my car, there's someone behind me.
Oh, shit.
Okay? So now, if that guy gets out and goes and asks, the guy in front of me is going to die, and then I'm next in line. So
Yeah.
what do I do? How do I get out of this situation?
It's like a riddle.
It is like a riddle.
It's sort of like there's a fox and some corned beef hash, a tarantula,
Well,
and a condor.
surely there's a wall somewhere you can put the grain on. No, there's no wall. It's just a fox and a chicken and some grain.
And nothing eats a tarantula, so don't worry about that. Just leave that
Right.
there.
Stay what you see, Gareth. So I wanted to get your take. Like, what should I do in that circumstance? On the off chance that actually comes up, it's like some sort of premonition. What should I do?
Okay, let's just get the facts there. You know what tunnel this is?
I don't.
You don't know what tunnel this is?
No.
It's a very unusual situation. I'll admit, I don't know if there's precedent for it in ever. But that would be my first question: is what have other people done in a similar situation? As someone that does a lot of research, you always say, well, what has someone done before? Because undoubtedly,
you're really a scientist in a lot of ways, and that's the scientific method. Sure.
That's true. Yeah, and then I would come up with a model, and then you just build a computer model, sort of like that Nate Silver guy. Build a computer model, run simulations, and that'll there you go.
Now, speaking of scientists, you yourself invented those headphones. Is that correct?
I built them from spare headphone parts.
Obviously. I mean, they may not be attractive. What is the little part sticking up? I don't understand that. There's like a little part on the side that like juts up.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what this is. It's a design feature. These are noise canceling. I'm going to now turn on the noise canceling function.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, thank you.
I can't.
That's good.
It makes no difference at all. It is.
Yeah.
These are. I think these are cheap. They were a gift.
Okay. Well, it's probably fairly quiet there anyway.
Well, that was exciting to hear that story, and it reminds me that you are someone that I think people probably easily forget kind of lives on a plane of creative reality that is certainly above and beyond the average citizen.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for acknowledging that. That means a lot to me. So now
it's a weird dream. It's a weird dream.
It was a weird dream, but I really, actually for most of the rest of the night would kind of, half awake, half asleep, think about, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be an unfortunate situation, not only for the 5 drivers in front of me, but for myself.
I think there's a high probability you would have died.
Exactly.
It sounds to me that's where you were going. I mean, that's sort of
the easiest answer, obviously, although it kind of avoids the question, is that I would just walk away. But my fear would be that even if I weren't near my car, I would still die.
Exactly. It just extends wherever you are.
That's right. It's like the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, I know I always bring that up as a reference point in our conversation, but I mean, it's valid. I mean, it raises real philosophical questions about our existence. Speaking of philosophical questions about our existence, how much would you pay to be the Illinois senator? I would pay $10,000.
Well, it's I mean, the thing is golden. I mean, it's a golden fucking thing you've got right there.
Fucking, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
I don't know.
Did you watch that press conference at all, by the way?
With Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, does he really have to bleep out the swear words like he did? I mean, is it
not only does he have to bleep them out, but does he always then have to explain that Blagojevich didn't actually say bleep? It's like, yeah, got it. First of all, the guy's a psycho. Second of all, he's a fucking crook. Like, I get it, he didn't say bleep.
I want to be the guy at the President Reporter that just misses that and just be like, can someone give me some sense of what is that, what
right.
the bleeping, is that code for something? Is it?
Yeah, I have a question. Yes, NBC. Yeah, I mean, you got to give him credit, though, for not actually swearing, right? I mean, is there any sort of leniency in that regard? It's like, no, he did swear. I thought I made that clear.
I wish he said the word pancakes instead of bleeping, Right. He said, I got this pancakes guy,
Well, it all goes back to the choice by some of the first TV stations as to what they were going to substitute vulgarity with. And had they chosen at that point the word pancakes, then that undoubtedly is what he would have said. Frankly, my dear, I don't give up pancakes. It's like, which I would assume was the first recorded example.
Or you know what they should have done is it would have been an interesting moment to sell it as advertising, like, maybe TiVo would have bought it, like that guy is such a TiVo son of a gun.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure. And then what Fitzgerald could say is, of course, he didn't really say TiVo, although he may have when he was talking about what the best DVR solutions were as you go into this Christmas season. Right, totally.
This vulgarity was censored by...
Has been replaced by...
Comcastic. I don't. It is an amazing thing, and I guess Illinois is now. I guess Illinois is one of these states that it's. I mean, you either have just top notch, once in a generation elected officials, or just the most inept, obviously corrupt, and there's just no sort of middle ground in that state.
Sure, and so far the balance of once in a generation to corrupt is about 2 to 46, if I'm reading that balance correctly. Although, here's what I'll say. As an Obama supporter, which I don't know if you were, I think you knew that I was supporting Obama.
Yeah.
I'm glad this came out now and not 2 months ago.
Agreed.
I'm just going to say that.
Yeah,
just for the record.
I don't think it would have looked good.
Did you see this thing, Joe the Plumber, saying that he thought McCain was appalling?
Yeah, which is, I think, for the first time in my life, I actually want to, see John McCain get to defend himself. With just, just sort of like, really? I mean, obviously you and I were McCain supporters, not big fans, but, I would choose him over the, completely stupid, unlicensed plumber, guy that's, I mean, what all the stuff.
No, I don't think she was a plumber. I don't think she was a plumber. I think she was the governor of Alaska, if that's who if you're referring to who I think you're referring to. That's not what she did.
I just don't think a guy like that has permission to talk shit to the guy that made him. It's like, thanks for making me famous.
Right.
You're appalling. I mean,
totally.
It'd be like you saying that to me. I mean, it's just like there's no business. You'd have no business saying that.
And let me just say for the record that I'm very disappointed that you and I didn't get to share the Sarah Palin experience through wasting time at work in the way that really it deserved to be.
I think we would have brought out a new angle on that story.
Because no one was making jokes. Like, as it progressed, no one saw her as a target for humor in the way that you and I would have.
They certainly didn't. I think America missed out on something, and for that reason, I think both you and I should give early and off to her exploratory committee to ensure that 2012 run.
I had a better idea, really, which was that you and I just go to Alaska and start this there, right? And just be totally Alaska-focused. Because they have 600,000 people. If we carried over our audience that we had when we actually had an audience to Alaska...
First of all, I assume the audience is going to come back and materialize almost instantaneously.
Since we're doing at least a one-off, maybe even twice, or something along these lines. Sure.
16 months later, we're back, and bigger than ever.
Right. That's right. Okay, well, we've been a little over 10 minutes, and that's YouTube's limit, so we should sign off.
You'll
Michael?
have to edit something. Can I just say you win the background war of this exchange?
I always will, my friend. I always will. This was one of the greatest investments of my life. And if I had the little... the controller hooked up, I would sound this horn which would deafen me.